lot of defensive coordinator hirings over the past few days, so let's talk about all of them. First of all, and the best one, Raheem Morris to the Niners. This is an absolute slam dunk for San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan and Raheem Morris worked together nearly 20 years ago on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And how much luckier could you get going from Robert Saleh to Raheem Morris? It's an absolute blessing, and Niners fans should be thrilled. The second big hire was Jim Leonhard going to the Bills. And while I still don't like the Joe Brady hire, I do like this one. Jim Leonhard is a young and upcoming mind in the coaching world, and he actually used to play for the Bills back in 2007. He knows the city, he knows the building, he knows some of the staff, and while it might not be the number one hire, I do think he's much better than having Bobby Babich. The third defensive coordinator hired was Chris O'Leary to the Chargers. And if you don't know who he is, he was actually the safeties coach under Jesse Minter back in 2024. And then he left this past year and went over to Western Michigan, where he was their defensive coordinator, and now he's back with the Chargers. And you know, it doesn't matter who they brought in, it was always going to be a downgrade over Jesse Minter. But with O'Leary only being 34 years old and still very early in his coaching career, he might be the next Jesse Minter. The fourth hire was Patrick Graham going to the Steelers. He was the former Raiders defensive coordinator, and he's been around forever. But with that being said, it's boring. For some reason, the Steelers don't want to bring in any young people to this coaching unit. Number 5 is Sean Duggan to the Dolphins. And surprise, surprise, it's another guy from the Packers. He was their linebacker coach last year, and to be honest, this one doesn't really matter because Jeff Hafley's going to be the one calling the plays. And finally, you got Brian Duker to the Jets. He's coming over from Miami, where he was the secondary coach last year. And once again, this one doesn't really matter because it's going to be Aaron Glenn calling the plays. So yeah, which defensive coordinator hire did you like the best? A bada bing, a bada boom, baby.